And welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3. It's that time where we give Portable a little bit more floor time for Tartarus. We've been neglecting it in the past few expeditions, but that's just kind of how I cycle these things around. Now, we will take a look at our team here. Things are not that different from what they have been. Obviously, I'm still using the same people. It's the Teen Girl Squad, all day, every day. But let's actually take a look at a couple of them, because both Yukari and Mitsuru have picked up their maid outfits, so now they are a matching set with the Femc now. Well, if I could check her equipment from the screen, you would see that they're a matching set. Sadly, Aigis is going to be left out for right now. I feel sorry for her, but we'll get hers in due time. Not too much else to say here. I have already accepted a couple of quests for collecting items in the new section. Oh! I didn't realize I gotta go accept one more quest before we actually get into exploration, but I will be accepting all the collection quests here, and we will be getting the items as we go, ideally. I would like to knock out the gold medals sooner rather than later, just so we can get more coins to sell, because I had to use a little bit of money to do those fusion requests, but we should be able to take care of that in due time. So, with that established, let's go over our setup in the other games, and let's get to the barricade that has suddenly formed in Portable and FES. I do feel great, but that's neither here nor there. So, for FES, we are, again, just running a pretty consistent setup here, and what's more interesting about this particular Tartarus trip is the goals I have for the evening. Also, just the miscellaneous things that are different about Haraba compared to previous blocks we've gone through, but we're going to get to that in more detail in Portable instead this time around, since we haven't really given Portable much floor time. Ken, Akihiko, Junpei, running all basically the same stuff that they have been since the last boss fight. Ditto for the protagonist, really. Most fights, as long as there isn't a fire immunity, I'm just going to pop off a Maragidine with Cert and call it a day. What I would like to get done is, first off, compared to Portable, I am extremely broke in Persona 3 FES, which, you know, kind of funny to think about. 250k yen is no small chunk of change, but it goes quickly in the world of Persona 3. So I want to get a lot of money, and there are two particular Persona that I'd like to fuse. I would like to create Odin, and I'll need a couple levels before I can do this, but I'd also like to create Siegfried. Two incredibly good personae in this game that will just allow me to have a pretty consistent answer to more or less every encounter we're going to get into for the remainder of it. So that's my main goals for tonight. The other thing I'd like to do is eventually fuse off Thor into a Kumbanda. Since Kumbanda has innate auto Masukukaja, that can get me one step closer to having a dedicated auto team buffer going into every battle in the immediate future. So that's what we're just going to be taking care of in FES, or attempting to. And we might be going farther than you expect in this initial trip, which is happening on 11/9 in FES's timeline. So just stay tuned for that. Over in Reload, for defeating the Hangman, we of course get a new tarot card added to Shuffle Time, the Hangman. This allows you to get an incense card when you pull it. The value of the incense card is dependent on how high up you are in Tartarus. Now, I've already taken care of some work. Naturally, I went through a lot of the lower and easier floors in order to secure all of our major Arcana cards. Of note, I've gotten a star card, so I have more draw power, though I was not able to get the devil card, so we're not going to be getting as much treasure as this time, but because I'm able to just pick money cards whenever I want to and still get something else on top of that, that's just fine. I also got the Hangman draw, so let me see here. I'm just looking for my incenses here, because we got a pretty helpful one. We got a luck incense that we can of course use on Junpei to increase his critical rate, and yeah, he could definitely use that. I've also got some power incenses here, which we're just going to funnel those right into Aigis. The closer she gets to 99 strength, the faster she will cap it. Obviously, you know, a little bit of a truism there for you. But also that means that she'll just start redistributing her stats into other areas when she doesn't have any more strength to increase. And of course, since she has an innate fizz amp to everything, that's going to help her out a lot. Going for a very damage-heavy composition here, I'm going to be bringing Junpei, Aigis, and Akihiko for this evening, and I'll probably mostly stick with them. The other thing to note is that we've got no missing persons at this point in time. However, it appears a little guest was feline curious enough to meander inside. They should be somewhere around floor 168. Perhaps you should go find them. We'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, now with that all established, let's get into exploration. See, I told you. Looked like it was a dead end before, but now looks like a completely normal floor. And I honestly kind of like that that kind of fake out. Let's see the way forward for the other versions, and then let's move on. Naturally, what was also once originally a dead end in FES also now suddenly has a staircase. Man, it's just wild how much it changes. Anyway, it's time to go over to Reload, where I found myself somewhat disappointed. And over in Reload, let's of course see the barricade go down. Now, the reason that I didn't show off this screen in our previous expedition here is because it is a lot more obvious in Persona 3 Reload that Tartarus keeps on going, and I honestly really appreciated the attempted fake out. Looks like the shaking has subsided. Is everyone alright? The path towards the staircase has opened up. You can advance further now. We don't know what's waiting ahead, so please be careful going forward. Alright. Made it to the next stage. Let's see how far my fists can carry me. Okay. But as I was saying, I kind of like, you know, obviously, if you have any degree of genre savviness, you can probably assume that the game was going to be going after the Hangman fight, but I do appreciate the attempt to be coy about that, and I feel like Reload kind of missed an opportunity to not have the very clear endpoint that wasn't actually an endpoint. Anyway. Something seems very different about this floor. The enemies are different too. I'll scan ahead, but please give me some time. And yes, we are in the new block, Haraba, and Haraba can be a bit of an eyesore. I'm not sure if I'd really say the portable version better or worse with its low-res textures. Regardless, we've got some enemies over here, or rather we should have some enemies that we can get into a fight with over here, but I already just immediately aggroed it early. You know what? Fortune favors the bold. I guarantee you I'm going to have bad luck on this one, because that's how the game rolls. Okay, no. So here we've got Imprudent Mayas. These guys nullify fire, so unfortunately, Cert is already found something that he is walled against, but that's okay, because they are also perfectly vulnerable to lightning or ice skills, depending on what you have. We'll just go with some good old ice here and take these guys out, no problem. Not an enemy that drops an item that I care about, so not exactly a great fight for us. One thing to note at this point, speaking of items that can drop, is that if you're looking for onyxes to trade for stat cards, this particular section of Tartarus is actually the last area where we will encounter pretty much anything that drops onyxes. I believe there's a Magi-type enemy that drops onyxes around here. As soon as we get into position where we can fight against the enemies that, the cupids that we need to kill for the request, I believe we'll be past the point where we can find onyxes through general exploration anymore, and if you want to farm those out, you will actually have to go back and find dedicated areas to do so. One nice thing about Haraba is that it has these areas with these little corner staircases, giving you a lot of places where you can break the aggro of enemies that you come across. Let's see, got more of these guys, plus the Kaiden Musha over there. The Kaiden Musha is actually statistically identical to the Mushas that we fought as Strong Shadows before. I think they are. I can't remember if this is the exact enemy we fought before. Regardless, we're just going to have Parvati pop off with a Mabufala. Eventually, we're going to have an alternative option that'll allow me to maintain cool breeze, have high magic damage, and still deal with these guys. Unfortunately, we could not get the knockdown on Kaiden Musha there. We're still gonna go for the Hamon there, even though it's almost assuredly going to miss because this is portable. Hey, there we go. You know, sometimes you gotta tempt fate just to see, but though that is far less consistent in portable, if you have Hamon and wing it at a light weak enemy, it will almost always work in FES. Not the case in portable, even if you have boost, which is really obnoxious. Makes the whole specialization feel like a terrible investment. Weapons are going to start selling for quite a lot at this point, so I always be getting those sword cards. Alright, I should probably get my other notes over here so I can remember what floors actually have worthwhile treasures on them. Of course, we can get some cleats on this area still. I really want to be getting those wand cards from Shuffle Time at every opportunity I can get them, because experience yields at this point can get pretty significant in Portable. I'm getting a bunch of these Mayas, but yeah, experience gains can get pretty significant at this stage in Portable, and remember that the wand cards have been buffed from FES to Portable. They are 1 multiplier higher than the corresponding card in FES. So a rank 8 wand card will get us, I think that's a 2.4 multiplier over the base experience, so doubling plus some change. In Portable, that is a 3.4, so tripling and some change. That is very nice. Makes it so much faster to level up. This is a treasure floor. We can already tell because we got some equipment, but I was just double checking my notes to see the other floors. So we will want to clear this one out. Hey, actually got a new enemy here. These guys, thankfully, are weak to fire. These are the Crazy Twins. Not anything I need to be too scared about. We're just going to have Cert pop off here, and also give us a nice top off of our SP. Because the maid outfits are buffed in this version... Oh, nice. Because the maid outfits are buffed in this version, and give us additional SP to work with, that also indirectly serves as a buff to Cool Breeze, because that is, that is, like, essentially... 4 extra SP being generated for us for each proc of Cool Breeze. Not much, but it adds up over time. Okay, we'll definitely take that sword card. Having pretty bad luck with Shuffle Time here. I lost track of it, but luckily, occasionally when you pick a bad card, you will get a mulligan. I actually don't know if I've shown that off yet. I haven't really had too many opportunities to pick bad cards. You have to understand, I've been going at this series for a year, so it's pretty easy to forget what I have and haven't demonstrated. Despite my best efforts, some mistakes do slip through. It's kind of inevitable when you're playing this many different versions of a very long game. I almost got trapped by my own party members here. I also mentioned, I do know I distinctly mentioned this during the earlier stages of the LP. It's not that much worse than Persona 3 FES, but it still feels like something I run into a lot more in this version. I don't know, maybe it's just the slightly more angular character models that result in that kind of thing happening more often. Oh hey, got several new enemies here. Got the Apostate Towers over there. You know what, do I have the Agni Bracers on? I might have taken those off at some point. I can't remember, actually. But, the Apostate Tower is weak to fire. Those, Mighty Beasts over there are weak to light, repel dark, otherwise not too notable. Of course, just blasting with fire also takes them out quite nicely. Man, I am getting pretty terrible luck with my Shuffle Time cards here. Not getting, ooh, nice! Aigis finally has access to Marakukaja, way after Junpei gets access to it. Also, something to note about Aigis in Portable is that she gets Dirahan at level 59. She doesn't actually get that in Persona 3 FES right away. Normally, she doesn't get that until her... I can barely sense a strong presence. Might take a while to find out exactly where it is, though. She doesn't normally get that upgrade until her Persona upgrades with the storyline, because don't worry, Aigis will also get a Persona update. With all these that have been going around for everyone, she'll get hers someday, too. Hopefully not through anything super traumatic happening to her. But yeah, that kind of made Aigis' Persona upgrade somewhat notable, and that was one of the few times where the Persona you got... I just need to double-check my equipment here to make sure I have the Agni Bracers on. I feel like I don't. Yeah, I had a Giga Guard Band. No wonders I was doing such low damage there. Well, hold on, wait, does Cert have... does Cert have... Oh my god, I always forget where everything is in the different menus in this game. No, he doesn't have Fire Amp yet. Yeah, he got Ragnarok. Again, it's just different versions of the game. I get these things mixed up all the time. So let's equip those Agni Bracers. There we go. That should do some good work for me now. But yeah, Aigis' Persona upgrade was one of the few times where a character could actually, or would have a skill populate their skill list that was actually a lower level than the last thing they learned with their basic Persona. It does my heart wonders to see Cert deal 500 damage instead of 300 damage. This is a junk floor, so we'll just make our way up the seizure-inducing stairs. I found it! It's on the 171st floor. That's still a ways away, but please be careful. Yeah, the first boss is actually not that far off from where you start, despite what Fuka is saying there. I don't really feel like that is a huge number of floors that we have to traverse. I might actually take an access point if we come across one. Enemies are getting stronger. Are you okay? Please don't push yourself too hard, because I believe we're able to fuse Odin. I'm so thankful that we were able to get that. Ooh, nice. There's the strong shadow over there. One unfortunate thing that we're going to have to deal with the strong shadows on these floors is that they are weak to insta-kill spells. Let me see here. Where are they in my notes? These are the Ruinous Idols, and I believe they are weak to Mudo skills. Yeah, they drain fire, are weak to ice, light. Okay, okay. Actually, them being weak to ice works out in my favor. I have Parvati right here. I would still love to get Cert more experience, but I'm not really, I'm not exactly afforded the option of choice most of the time here. Alright, that is much better, though. Yeah, honestly, if I wanted to, I could even pass the turn to Mitsuru. Just have her pop off with her more considerably potent ice skills, and I would get her a good amount of experience. Or not experience, but would give her a good amount of floor time. Note that Mitsuru is not going to get Mabufu dying until she gets her upgrade. Nice! 2 moon tablets there. Sooner I can get that request done, the better. Yukari is inbound for learning Gutterdyne soon, which will be a nice increase for her power, I feel. Would have been nice if we could have gotten a wand card on the strong shadows there. That'd be a very good amount of experience for me. Let's see. Not feeling too confident about that way, so we'll head over. Oh, is this a dead end? Never mind, we'll head this way. Sometimes you just gotta make snap decisions, and sometimes those snap decisions turn out to be wrong. I'll just aggro this guy. I was gonna fight him anyway if given the opportunity, so may as well just set it up to be a little bit easier for me. Do need to be a bit more mindful of my approach in some of these fights, although fortunately, since not everything is immune to fire here, Cert still has plenty of opportunities to flex his skills. Looking good, looking good. I got the wand card I was looking for, got over 2,000 experience points on that previous fight. Another level I would like to see reached is level 60, honestly. That would be very, very nice for us to hit. Let's see, what is over this way? You know what, I'm gonna real quick just look at my fusion options. Let's take this access point. I'm gonna do a little bit of shopping around with fusions. As soon as I entered the floor in Persona 3 Reload, or Haraba in Persona 3 Reload, we got the Greedy Shadow event, so I may as well go for it. Let's see what we get here. It's also basically the same set of cutscenes every time, so let's chase it down. Yes, let's chase the thing down. Understood. Blah 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 is moving at breakneck speed. We don't get any kind of hint here, so when in doubt, go left. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh hey, we actually did get lucky. Let's take a right this time. Can't just be super predictable. And last one is left, I feel. Let's do it. And did we corner it? Yes we did. Okay, the game was kind of leaving me in suspense there. Anyway. Nice critical from Junpei there to finish it off. Once he gets going with those crits, they can deal some pretty good damage. Ooh, new persona also. And let's see here, growth 3, I already got plenty of those, so we'll just take the money. Oh, I do actually need to drop something. Well, we've got some junks here. We don't need a priestess persona anymore, so I can just drop any jobbers that I happen to have in the inventory, get a whole bunch of experience and level up for everybody, get Dira Han onto Aegis. Very nice. Gives her a little bit of an off-heal option. And with that, the Greedy Shadow defeated, we managed to recover the treasure, get a nice haul there. Alright, now let's get back to the expedition in progress. And by expedition in progress, I of course mean a little montage of enemies available here. We got Crazy Twins who use light skills and are weak to dark skills. As you could probably guess there, nothing too fancy. With Aegis having the Sukukaja buff to start things off, and having Myriad Arrows, she can pretty reliably hit 4 to 5 hits on that. And with her Pierce Bracers and her Fizzamp, some pretty good damage coming through from there. We'll just have Junpei go for a normal attack, because he can swing for the fences, like so. We've also got our Monad door over here, so let's just speed into this and get into our first Monad encounter for Haraba. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Yeah, get used to the harsh visuals in this area. Looks like we've got a giant. Let's go for it. Let's do it. And we should be able to take this guy out with relatively little issue, but we'll see what happens. You never know. Sometimes I get caught off guard by the things that are thrown at us. We aren't able to scan this guy immediately, but that's okay. I'll just have Aegis open up with Matarukaja. Note that Aegis has pretty low SP, so you can end up going through quite a bit of, what is it? Or burning through quite a bit of Aegis's SP there, and it can be a bit rough on your supplies if you're using it pretty consistently, but at the same time, she doesn't really have anything else she's going to use. I'm just going to go for Deathbound here, just on the off chance that I can crit it, and I couldn't, so that's fine. Let's see here. We will want to be careful about what this guy's going to do. Do I know what skills they can use? Unfortunately, no. The bosses are not forthcoming with that information. I'm going to switch over to Siegfried here, because that gives me relatively good defense against whatever this guy can do. And you know what? Let's just go for a Scarlet Havoc to open things up. Yeah, very good chance of critting here. And unfortunately we missed it, but that is fine. I'm not overly pressed about that. We will scan this guy, and it looks like fire is what we want to go for, but he's also perfectly vulnerable to myriad arrows, so we'll just have Aegis fire off with that, and let's see what the damage is for this upcoming attack. A Deathbound, probably going to deal some pretty big damage. Yeah, took out Aegis there, but that is okay. We have plenty of band-aces here. Don't ask me how this helps out Aegis, it just does, okay? Bit of a waste of her theurgy gauge, but that's fine. We can have Junpei hit this guy with Agilao, and honestly, nah, let's, I was gonna say maybe go for an all-out attack, but I honestly think this would be stronger. Plus, it gives me an opportunity to recharge my theurgy a little bit. Let me see, who is the best Agi-dying user that I have? Don't really have anyone who is super good, so we'll just pass it on over to Taisojo here, since he is an Agi-dying user. We're definitely going to want to spend some time building up our specialists when we get a chance. And just quickly take this guy down. Not too bad, not too bad. After that fight, Akihiko learns Zeodyne, which is going to be a pretty appreciable damage boost for him. Looking forward to that. Next up, we have our rare form for the area. Immune to most magic types and highly resistant to physical skills. We're gradually getting to the point where rare forms can really only be reliably beaten with theurgies. So be sure, if you have the choice or the opportunity, to build up your theurgies before getting into fights with them. Next up, we have the Apostate Towers. These guys are just weak to fire skills, but I don't feel like delaying until we get around to Junpei's turn, so I'm just gonna blast him with myriad arrows. Check that out. Cool, I think that was like, what, 240 damage there? Pretty good. Well, actually probably closer to 280, really. Let's see here. We'll take that. And you know what? We'll take that Ganesha there, just because I've got some junk Personae in my stock. May as well clear them out so I don't have to worry about them. Another enemy we have over here is Kaiden Musha. He is resistant to all physical types and is only weak to wind. Fairly easy to counteract. Obviously, you should always take these guys with physical attacks very, very seriously because they can, of course, deal pretty nasty damage if they happen to crit. Plus, they'll always get an extra turn if they crit in these versions of the game, so definitely don't want that being thrown your way. That makes me a little nervous, but fortunately, not anything that we were too pressed by. I'm actually going to have Akihiko just fish for a crit there. Otherwise, I will just slowly chip away at this guy until I get around to the protagonist's turn, which I can use my Sailor to blast him with a Garula and call it a battle here. It's also note that because our SP has raised up so much at this point, because Life Aid is just a % heal, it's becoming more and more effective as we get more SP in total, so that's allowing us to go further and further without having to top off the protagonist.
Resuming exploration.
Next up on the docket, we have Cursed Dice. These guys are resistant to all physical types, only weak to wind, and also they are ailment-spamming jerks. Absolutely hate that. So, luckily, at this point in the game, we have our refresh packs here, so we can clear off all these nasty ailments, although it'd definitely be nicer if we just didn't have to deal with them at all. What I'm going to do here is, let's see, let's have Fuka hit the Oracle here. Since I'm regularly scanning enemies, it would be a good idea to just use this whenever I get it built up. Also need to be mindful of, hey, nice, free SP restore to everybody. Not exactly what I needed right now, but still pretty good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy down with that. I'm actually going to pass over to Aegis and get her into Orgia mode. That way she will be immune to the status ailments that this guy is throwing out. She won't be able to deal great damage outside of theurgies due to this guy's very good physical resistance. But, ooh, hey. Well, that might allow for some decent cruel attack damage, or she goes for Heat Wave. Yeah, unfortunately, you are a bit at the mercy of what the AI does. Fortunately, Aegis has stacked so many multipliers there that we shouldn't really have to worry about that. Also note that it is a good idea to just throw out Akihiko's Theurgy when you see an opportunity for it, because it charges so fast for him. Now that we have these auto buffs in play, he's going to be getting that just ridiculously frequently, so may as well just keep going for that. I'm actually going to go for Vile Assault here, get that bonus damage going onto it. There we go. Not as good as the Heat Wave from Aegis, but still decent enough. Another new enemy we got up here is Imprudent Minas, and unfortunately he is very weak to the things that I'm specializing in here. Pierce and Elec. I almost feel bad for this guy. Almost, though. We'll just go for a quick Myriad Arrows here, and watch this guy just have most of his health gauge deleted, follow up with the all-out attack to finish him off, and then take me in the shuffle time to get my goodies. Next up, we have a Scarlet Turret, and this guy is resistant to Slash and Strike, but is quite vulnerable to Elect skills, so that works out good for us. One fun thing that's been happening a lot is Aegis's weapon has a chance to confuse enemies on hitting them. When I've been slapping them with it, it's been pretty consistent, so that's always really nice. Anyways, this guy is nothing too special. Aegis can still deal good damage to him since he is completely neutral to Pierce attacks. Granted, that requires him to actually survive the all-out attack coming from us, so that wasn't too likely for him. And we've made it to our next Monad door, so let's see what we've got awaiting us behind here. It looks like some type of scale, or cross. No, scale. So a scale and a cross. I sometimes forget what these enemies are supposed to be design-wise. It does not help that he had the flowing red aura over him, so we've got the world balance here. Let's see. We should always, when we're just trying to feel these guys out and figure out what they're doing, always play it as safe as possible. And yeah, it looks like he's going for the Maegan, which shouldn't be that big a deal for us, and it definitely was not. We'll maximize our power here, and I'm just going to have Junpei swing for the fences with Deathbound. Deathbound is the skill with the highest base crit rate at his disposal right now, so even against a single target foe, it's usually a pretty good idea to go for it, like so. We'll pass it back over to Aegis and hit it with a pretty strong cruel attack. Because she's got the Pierce bracers and Fizzamp, this will probably deal more damage overall than if I had Junpei use the stronger Vile Assault attack. Speaking of Vile Assault, we can also do that on the protagonist here. Deal some pretty good damage. Hey, it's Dizzied. We can get the scan going on it and see what we got here. Nothing that I can really do against it in terms of weaknesses, so we'll just have Akihiko go for the Gigantic Fist. I've actually been having really good luck with Akihiko getting criticals on that. It's been kind of obscene tonight. Ooh, get some experience for Siegfried there. And yeah, that should be it. Actually, I should be taking more Persona cards when I see them, because my stock is actually very light right now. So let's get rid of these useless junk ones that I just have to advance social links that we're actually completely done with now. We don't need any more Justice Personae in our stock specifically, so any of those that I pick up and don't need can just be chucked to the wayside. Strong presence is on the 171st floor. Please be careful. Fuka, when have I not been careful? Except all the times in the series that I have not been careful, and nearly suffered the consequences for my hubris. But, you know, who's keeping track of that? Certainly not me. That helps me sleep at night. Okay, what is this guy doing over here? Unfortunately, this guy is, we don't have enough space to run away that if I aggro him, I can break that aggro. Switching to Parvati so much, she's actually getting some level ups herself. Let me see. Oh, no, not discard, not discard. I just wanted to check to see, it's quite a ways off from that. I'm almost tempted to put Growth 3 on Dessert just for the sake of making sure he always gets experience. Though obviously that would be completely useless once he hits the point that I want him to be at, because we're going to be maxing out his stats via arcade games anyway. Oh god. That was a bit unfortunate there. Wasn't paying as much attention as I could have been. Fortunately, we got these convenient corner stairs here to just break any aggro that we've accumulated. We've also found the remaining chest for this floor, so once we grab that, we can just move on to the next one. No sense in delaying that. And fortunately, floor 170 is also a payday floor. Mitsuru's Bufadine damage actually isn't looking too shabby at this point. 312 damage on a weakness. Obviously, it doesn't compare very well to the Femc, but who can in this version of the game, honestly. It's so easy to make your protagonist very overpowered. The arcade games were a huge game changer, well, quite literally, for stat maxing your persona. Oh my god, that's terrible luck here. Unfortunately, I'm going to probably have to take a risk on a first strike here. You can never go wrong assuming that the game is going to have some degree of contempt for you, but thankfully that encounter did not go so badly. Something that I learned doing my live streams of the OG version of the game on PS2, the non-FES version of Persona 3 on PlayStation 2, is that that mechanic actually used to be the reverse. You could actually get a first strike on the enemy when neutrally striking them, provided the game was gracious enough to allow it. Wow, I'm having bad luck finding the stairs there. There they are. Such is life sometimes. Let's get on to the next floor. The enemy is on the next floor. Please be careful. Again, Fuka, you worry too much. We've got this in hand. It's not like I let the enemy get the advantage on me at one point. You know what? This is just one small shadow here. This might be a new enemy, so let's check it out. Let's, you know, fortune favors the bold here. Again, love these corner staircases. Great and easy way to break enemy aggro. Hey, yes, the Scarlet Turrets have been demoted. They are no longer considered cool enough to be strong shadows anymore. That's fine by me, though. We can easily take them out with Zeodynes now. Deal some pretty studly damage there. I don't even think Thor has access to Elekkamp yet, so that's just his raw damage there. Tier 3 spells are quite powerful, and, you know, just adding to the protagonist's dominance in Persona 3 FES and Portable. Your protagonist is the only one who, I couldn't tell. That was too fast for me. I thought that one moved over, but I had a lapse in thought there, and it's just like, did it stay? Which is unfortunate for me, because I would have liked to have that. We still don't have a full stock here, so I do need some more high-level Persona if I want to keep fusing new things. One thing to note is that we've hit the end of the line for some Arcanas already. Ysert is the last of the Magicians, Thor's the last of the Chariots. We've technically hit the end of the Emperor line, even though I haven't fused Odin yet in this version. We have nowhere to go from there, so that's another one that's a dead end. So certain fusions can end up just giving you stuff that's weaker, and we need to start branching out into different Arcana if we want to fuse stronger and stronger Persona. Whoops, drew a Persona card that I already had there. Kind of unfortunate, really. Let me see here. I just, oh, for some reason I thought I took a bunch of damage there. It might be worth my while to actually use an SP Restorative on the Fency, since I haven't been able to keep Cert out full time, but I don't really actually have that many. I haven't really had reason to trade for them, because we just haven't really been running into SP problems. Huh, turns out I actually was at maximum capacity for my stock. Go figure, go figure. Regardless, I had a weak Dominion that I could just chuck out, and I replaced him with the Lachesis. Let me see here. We haven't fully explored the floor, and there should be one more chest on here. Always take the opportunity to get more money, more equipment to sell for more money. You know, you're just leaving stuff on the table if you pass by these payday floors, and that is no good in my opinion. I want to profit. I want to be stinking rich, because you actually go from stinking rich to flat broke very, very quickly in Persona if you do or Persona 3 rather, if you do a lot of fusing. That's honestly been one of the more joyous things about playing the OG vanilla version as well as Reload, is that it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to use the compendium, so, you know, I can actually fuse stuff off and then just pull it back out immediately if it was really good, or if it has more potential fusions that I could stand to flex. Alrighty, we have reached the boss floor. There are 3 shadows in the middle. Be careful. I'm gonna go do some preparations, and let's cut over to FES now to get that fight started. Alright, before we get down to business in Persona 3 FES, of course, I've got a fusion to do here. I'm going to be creating Odin. The spread I'm using here is Kikure Hime, what is his other name? Hokuto Sekun, I think it is, and then, what was the third one I was using up there? It doesn't really matter too much. Oh, come on, you gotta be kidding me. Well, never mind. Here's a fusion accident in Persona 3 FES. So I probably just, oh, Melchizedek. Interesting, though not at all what I wanted, but, this is, we're getting him a level ahead of, what we're supposed to, and, he is something that has Automata Kaja. That's kind of annoying, because, whatever. Well, here's at least another interesting thing I got, and he's got Elect Boost and, Cool Breeze. I might be able to just, fuse him into something else that creates an Emperor, though. While I'm thinking about how I correct that situation with Melchizedek, one thing I am going to take care of is getting Alice with Megiddo for Elizabeth's fusion request. This can very easily be accomplished by fusing an Oberon into a Decarabia. Decarabia has Megiddo by default, and he's also in the shuffle time pool for Haraba, so it's very easy to obtain him. And the rest of, the things that fuse into Alice are, just, low-tier junk, so it's, are you friggin' kidding me? Again! 2 fusion accidents in a row? How does this happen? Jatayu, what the? Why am I getting these way over level persona that I don't need? I'd be happy about this if I wasn't trying to get very specific things accomplished. Well, on the bright side, as it turns out, Jatayu does in fact fuse into Justice to create Emperors, so that is a backdoor into creating Odin. Alright, let me get the skills I want onto him, and I think I'm gonna go take on the boss to vent some frustration. Alright, finally got him, and as an added bonus, he also managed to pick up Growth 3, so it's going to be very easy to level him up to get his signature skill. Now, unlike Cert, Odin does not learn Elect Boost by default, he just picks up Elect Amp, so that's why I was very particular about getting a fusion that would allow him to have both those skills, but the reason Odin is so good, and why Growth 2 is going to be pretty helpful, is that Odin learns Thunder Rain, the ultimate Elect spell that, like Thunder Call, has a 100% chance of shocking anything that it hits. Even if they are resistant, and if you're able to nullify electric immunities via using Elect Break, that'll also allow you to shock enemies who are otherwise immune to electric skills. So, very good persona. Like Cert, he's going to be a permanent fixture of our lineup. Also like Cert, he fuses into a pretty interesting fusion weapon. He can create the Gungnir Spear for Ken, which gives Ken Elect Boost, if you're interested in having that. It isn't Elect Element like Gibalg, so it's not very good for physical attacking, but it is an option for making Ken's magic a bit more competitive. You can combine that with Indra Bracers and get him pretty close to the amount of damage that Akihiko is capable of doing. Alright, yeah, that's enough fusing for me. That was ridiculous, although I did end up accidentally getting some pretty interesting personae out of the deal. I think I might just look around to see if there's anything I can fuse Thor into to create Kumbanda, and then let's just get to the boss after I figure that out. Sadly, I could not get Kumbanda. Kingu would fuse into Thor to create a Hermit, but is just like a level short of being able to create Kumbanda, so no go there, but that is okay. For this boss fight, we're of course just going to lead with Thor to get the Automata Kaja, then switch into Cert to fire off Maragidines. That will work just fine. I've got the Agni Bracers equipped just for that purpose. Ken will also be valuable here for reasons we'll get into.
This is not just a random shadow. It seems to be guarding this area.
How unusual, Fuka. I would have never guessed that. Ooh, nice. Ken is in the second slot. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go heal support on Akihiko. We're going to have Ken also be on heal support, but this first turn I'm actually going to have him rush. And you know what? Actually, also put Junpei on heal support, just so we have him firing off Madaraku Kaja on the team. Ideally, anyway. That's going to depend slightly on how much damage we end up taking. As you can probably guess from the electrical currents circulating these guys, they deal electrical damage. What we're going to do to start things off is go for our Maragidine, and since Ken is in slot 2, or rather he's acting second, I can just have him go. And while these guys aren't weak to Elect specifically, they do take pretty good damage from Gibalg. Tempest Slashes. Ooh, brutal, brutal. That's okay, that's okay. That is within parameters. Let's have, Junpei, what are you doing? What are you doing? Did I not set him to the right thing? Why did he do that? Junpei, what was that? What were you thinking? Why is that Tempest Slash hitting so hard? Holy crap. Yeah, he's on heal support. What's he doing? Okay, sudden revision to plans. What we're gonna do here is throw up an attack mirror. I am less concerned about what these guys do with, Okay, nice. What these guys do with their electrical skills, since Akihiko is immune to those anyway. Oh my goodness, this is going disastrously. Akihiko, what are you doing? I need healing. Oh my god, this has gone terrible. I've never seen this happen like this before. This is no good. This is very bad, actually. Wow. Sometimes things just do not go to plan. Okay, we need to think carefully here. What we're gonna do now is, I really can't rely on Junpei right now because he's being, well, unreliable. So let's get the Rakukaja up ourselves because they just boosted up their attack. If Akihiko gets hit with the Tempest Slash, he is toast, but that's not a big deal. Luckily, we were able to mitigate the damage with Maragi dying there. Okay, please heal me, Akihiko. We're gonna have to think hard about this. This is going very poorly. Medicine onto Junpei himself. Okay. Let's see. There we go. That works out for me. Okay, that gives me a little bit of breathing room. Let's just go with... Let's try and thin their numbers out a bit. Let's see here. That one off to the right can probably die, and it's going to go before the rest of our team does. So let's get this guy taken care of. Ragnarok deals big damage there. Okay, not the amount of damage I was hoping for. Ooh, nice. Lucky dodge there. That's going to be a death for Akihiko, most likely. Oh, no. Good. He lucked out. Okay, he's going with the Diorama. I really should... Actually, you know what? Let's have a Junpei just rush. I don't even care anymore. There we go. Okay, that's one down. Okay, whenever they do that, that's good luck for me. Ah, God, this went terrible. I really should have just set up Rakukaja myself. Okay, let's see here. If we're lucky, we should be able to take this guy out before he gets... I'm just thinking what the smart play would be to do here. Maybe I should heal up real quick. What did Odin inherit? Nah, he didn't get Meteorama. But I do still have Thor, and he does have Meteorama, so you know what? I'm gonna bring Thor out. We're gonna play this a little bit more cautiously here. Akihiko... let's keep him on heal and support. Yeah, this went really poorly. I didn't... this is where, like, the limitation of only doing one playthrough and one attempt at the fights. In my notes, I did not know these guys, used Tempest Slash at all, nor did I have any way of expecting it to hit that hard. Thank you for finally doing something helpful, Akihiko. But yeah, I had no way to expect that it would hit that hard. When I fought these guys in my practice playthrough, Jesus Christus. When I fought these guys in my practice playthrough, all they did was the elect skills, so that was, getting taken out by Tempest Slash was not something I had to worry about at all. So our numbers are rapidly thinning here, but I think I can still make this work. Let's see here. That one's number 4, so if we can just get that guy eliminated. Let's go with Ragnarok on this guy. We still, fortunately, have our attack mirrors in effect, so if these guys go... Oh. Ah, just barely, but this should take him out. There we go. Oh, that did not... Oh, no, it did take him out. Okay, this guy goes second. What I need to do here is, I'm thinking I should just use an attack mirror, because if a Tempest Slash connects on the protagonist, he's gonna die no matter what. It's not gonna affect Junpei, but that's okay. And it uselessly boosted its own attack. Ow, whoops. Too late on the rush there. That's okay, that's okay. Let's just hit it with Ragnarok. And if it goes for a Tempest Slash on itself, that would be nice. Yeah, this fight proved to be a complete disaster. Okay, there goes Junpei, but that is okay. That is okay. We have items to help him out after the battle. Let's just blast off on this guy with Ragnarok. There we go. Okay. Well, you know, this is, I also wanted to funnel some experience in the protagonist, so that also worked. Oh, wow, that was surprisingly little. Okay, this might be a chance to show off something kind of interesting about Persona 3 FES. Let's use a revival bead on Ken specifically. And Ken automatically uses Recarm spells in his skill list. That's a fun little mechanic. If you finish a battle with a character dead, and you have somebody in the party who can use Recarm skills, they'll automatically cast them to bring your party members back up. You don't have to revive them yourself. So that's just a fun little thing that can happen, and I really haven't had a chance to demonstrate that yet. That doesn't happen in any other version of the game, which I think is kind of lame, honestly. Anyway, on to Portable. time for the portable fight. Now, something important to note before we start, I have created more parity with my setup in Persona 3 FES. I've got a Kumbanda who has Auto Masuku and Auto Mataru. We're still waiting on Auto Maraku to become available, but I'll be able to get that easily enough. Also, by taking a Hokuto Sekun that I fused to get a Lek boost, then fusing it with a Kikuru Hime and Parvati, I have been able to create Odin, who has a Lek boost and Cool Breeze, so we've got that going here. This Odin is also item bearing. Odin produces the Drop Near item, which gives your characters the Divine Grace ability, which can be decently useful for Yukari, since it's gonna be a while before she gets Media Rahan, but it shouldn't be super necessary for me. I should be able to just take care of any healing I need with any persona that I create. I do have Throne in the compendium with Media Rahan now, should I need it, but that shouldn't be too necessary for this fight. I also pulled Parvati back out just in case I need ice coverage, though I really should not. Alright, let's get into this fight in Portable now. Good luck!
This is not just a random shadow. It seems to be guarding this area.
Oh, Fuka, that's the kind of insight that the community loves you for anyway. We definitely want to play this a bit smarter than I did last time, or in FES rather, so we should probably look around and see if I have any means to get defense built up here. Remember that these guys attack with a Lek and physical attack, so as long as we're not creating any vulnerability to that, just trying to see what my best option would be here. Cert in FES has Maraku Kaja, which is so much better for us, but does not have that at its disposal in this version of the game, I'm afraid. We'll go with Parvati here, and we will get Maraku Kaja set up on the party. Let's see, Aegis is up next, and honestly, I'm just gonna send her straight into Orgia mode. That's always a pretty good idea in my book. I haven't given her a Lekka-resistant weapon either, since that's not really gonna matter for us in Orgia mode, particularly in Persona 3 Portable, where she just straight up doesn't lose her turn at all when getting knocked down in Orgia mode, so that's fine. She's also doing the smart thing for once. I'm appreciative when she actually uses the effective option here. Mitsuru is just going to be in her zenith here. All she needs to do is spam Mabufalas, and that will be golden for us. Yukari has quite a bit going for her here. Oh boy, immediate Marakunda. That's fine as long as they don't wing the Tempest Slash. How many attack mirrors do I have to work with in this version? Let's just navigate our way down there. You know what? That should be plenty. Better safe than sorry. Let's get these just popped up on us here so that we don't have to worry about dealing with any nasty Tempest Slash being hurled our way. Unfortunately, they were able to power up pretty considerably there, so I have to be careful about how I approach here. I'm actually going to, since we have the attack mirror set up, I'm actually going to switch to Odin here, just so I can have some reprieve from having my weakness struck here. We're going to have to weather a bit of damage coming out from these guys, but fortunately they do not have any means of striking us with Tempest Slash unaided, so we're fine there. Mitsuru can go for the Mabufla here. Once Yukari's turn rolls around and she's able to throw out a Magarula, that should be pretty nice for her. And remember that she is resistant to Elect due to her bow, so we don't have to worry about her getting hit for any nasty damage here. There we go, pretty good. If she had Magarudyne, naturally that would be a lot better for us. There we go, get to enjoy the drain there. And honestly, I'm just going to go for it here. Let's wheel out Cert. I still have the Agni Bracers on the Femc, so this should deal wonderful damage. Our buffs are still in effect here, so this should hit pretty heavily. Yes! Very nice, very nice. And Aegis gets her Pierce attack off here. Finishes these guys off. Not too bad, not too bad. A little messier than I would have liked, but hey, that was still a pretty good clear in my opinion. On to the reload boss. Before we get into the nitty-gritty in Persona 3 Reload, we've of course got a kitty, so we better save him. Sadly, he was just below where we started off in Haraba, so had to double back in order to get him, but that is okay. We can honestly use some of the Twilight Fragments. We haven't really gotten that many yet. It's also worth noting that a lot of the enemies at this point are already intimidated by me, even though we've only just recently encountered them, including in Haraba. Persona 3 Reload's level curve really starts to swing in your favor at this point in the game. Anyways, by rescuing the kitty, we get 5 Twilight Fragments. Very nice. I'm also going to do just a little bit of shopping around fusion options to see if there's anything good I can get, so hold on. I'm going to start off by creating someone I've been meaning to create for a while, Haraba, because he does something very important for us in this version of the game, and let me see here. Just going to get some of these abilities onto him, and that'll do right there. So let's get to the point where he's already fused. There we go, looking pretty solid for us. I don't need that Invigorate, so we'll replace that with Fast Heal, get Megidola onto him. Megidola onto in place of Megido. There we go. And if we back out...
Are you finished?
Oh, you appear to be harboring a new potential. The personas you've acquired are resonating with one another, elevating you to greater heights. With Decarabia and Fornius in our compendium, we get the Best Friends Theurgy. This will allow you to cast Concentrate and Charge on one of your allies, and this is a bit situational, because obviously the protagonist himself can do quite a lot with Scarlet Havoc, so it is debatable if that's worth sacrificing. However, if you cast it on someone like Akihiko, who by the end of the game will of course have his Electric Onslaught and then God Hands, or God's Hand, he can deal incredible damage with that, so something to keep in mind. After a bit of a fusion drive, the number of acquired personas seems to have increased significantly. I'm immensely pleased to witness your further growth. And with that, we've gotten the upgrade to the protagonist characteristic, Weakness Amp. Very nice. Let's go over some of the more notable things that I've created, and otherwise, I'm just running the stuff that I have previously, because I just pulled it right back out of the compendium. We've got enough money that I can be pretty, frivolous with my compendium expenditures right now. So let's just take a look at some of the notable ones right here. First off is Suzaku, who got Fire Amp. So I'm gonna card Fire Boost onto her, and now I finally have a dedicated Fire Caster. I'll probably fuse her into something else that I can pass those skills onto, but for right now, that's gonna help us out a bit. We've also got, let's see, Trumpeter over here, who he is going to learn Makogan eventually, so if I put a growth card onto him, that'll be a good way to get access to better light magic. We got Mata here, and I definitely want to card growth 3 onto him, because as you can see, he picks up Strike Amp eventually. He doesn't have any strike skills of his own, but having that skill will make him a valuable fusion material for a powerful striker. Otherwise, I've mostly just got the same things going here. I also created a Parvati, and she picked up Divine Grace and Asbe Diorama, so that gives me good coverage for that. If I could card a fire resistance skill onto her, that would probably be a pretty good idea. Otherwise, we just kind of got the same stuff as normal. I fused off some stuff that I wasn't using, using anymore, such as White Rider, so we're all good to go here. We've also got a request to turn in for Elizabeth. We can turn in the Defeat a Greedy Shadow request. Don't worry too much about this request if you're having bad luck with the Greedy Shadow. There is a way to complete it guaranteed. We get a free Life Aid card for our efforts there. Very nice. Alright, I've had my fun there. Let's actually get into the boss fight for Reload now. The enemy is strong. Please make sure you're ready before fighting. Let's go, let's go. Approaching enemy shadow, eliminating target. Let's go, everybody. Should be a perfectly fine time here. He's starting off the Magarudyne, which is a little unfortunate for Junpei, but hey, this is why we have these auto buffs in effect. Tsukukaja there is a little rude, but I should be able to handle that no problem. Let me see. No, we don't get to scan him ahead of time. That is fine, though. So what we're going to do here is do the Matarunda here. We're going to try and get rid of that Tsukukaja on them, so once I get around to Aigis' turn, no, she has Dekunda, I forgot that. Well, whatever, I want to have her do Matarukaja instead, so that is fine. Let's just have Junpei get himself back up. We're going to have him wing for a crit here with Deathbound. Always a good idea to go for that, unless he misses, of course. Let's see here. We are going to... do I have access to Deikaja and anybody else? I don't think I do, but I should probably heal us up anyway. We'll take this a little bit by inches here. I'm not in a hurry to take this guy out. Let's figure out what we're dealing with here. Here comes a Masakunda from them. That is okay, though. Akihiko hard counters that. He can just immediately get us back up to speed here, quite literally. There we go. Now, let's actually get the scan here, see what our most effective option would be. That would be Dark Skills. Unfortunately, I don't have a good Dark Caster at this point, but we'll get one in due time, I am sure. For right now, let's just have Aigis go for the myriad arrows there, get a good amount of damage there tacked on, have Junpei once again swing for the fences, not get anything out of that, but that is okay. That is perfectly fine by me. Let's see here. May as well make use of this, well actually, do we know what skills this guy has? We don't know. He does have wind skills, so that would be a bad idea. We will... Let's see here. Who would be the strongest to go for? I think Black Frost, honestly. We'll knock him down with this. Alright, not bad, not bad. And we're actually going to pass it over to Akihiko. With the Matarukaja buff in effect, Electric Onslaught is going to do some wonderful damage here. So let's just watch him tee off on this guy, while he's also taking more damage from being downed. Boom, not bad. And the shock there is a wonderfully fortunate thing, because that just completely invalidates his turn, means that he is just going to be taking a few sucker punches from the rest of our team as we pass through everybody's turn. Let's see if Aigis can't score a crit here with myriad arrows. If not, Junpei may finally get his opportunity, or Aigis can just kill it outright. You thought I was being foolish by giving her all those incenses, huh? No, I had a game plan. Everyone line up. Since we're on a roll, how about we put pedal to the metal? Ah, you're on fire, Junpei. Damn right I am. Figured just moping around wasn't gonna get me anywhere. We'll get some answers eventually, so why not fight here while we wait? At least we'll get stronger. Sometimes you just gotta look at the bright side and do what you gotta do, you know? Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Anyway, the choice is yours. Whether we press on or pull back, I've got your back, dude. We're pressing on, we're pressing on. For our treasure rewards over here, we get an Amrita Soda, and in the locked chest, we will get... Oh, wow, I have a lot more Twilight Fragments than I expected. A pair of Mirage Sandals. I'll have to shop around and see if those are good for anybody. Quite good on Akihiko, actually, with that Ice Evasion. He actually has pretty good odds when Tsukukaja is up of dodging Ice Strikes. Time to continue our exploration in Portable. I'll scan ahead. Might take some time, though. We should be cruising now that we have Odin at our disposal. I can just swap between him and Cert and check basically anything in this area. And because Odin has innate Elec Amp right now, in addition to Elec Boost, I don't have to worry about losing damage with him, though of course the accessory I have set will be pretty useless if we tag into Odin. Another consideration we have to make with Odin is that I have not yet had time to develop his stats, because we've just created him. So it is possible that we'll run into stuff that he can't nuke that Cert theoretically could, provided they aren't immune to fire. Incidentally, that last Strong Shadow encounter gave me the last set of moon tablets that I need to complete Theo's request, so if we see an access point, I'm gonna take it. Would just be a very prudent thing to do, in my opinion, since this version of the game has floor jump, so we can just immediately return to where we left off once we turn that quest in. Oof, sorry, serious brain fart there as the encounter ended. What I was gonna say is, Yukari hit, ooh, there's a prayer form, damn it, we might be able to catch it. No, we're not going to be able to catch it. What I was going to say there is that Yukari has hit level 57 and has Garudine at her disposal now, so she can deal some pretty potent single target damage considering we got the Vayu bracers on her. Probably won't ever compare to Mitsuru, since Mitsuru can stack the Varna bracers as well as Ice Boost, but you know, Yukari does have a good magical stat to flex. For some reason, the shuffle times feel a little laggy today, and it's actually kind of throwing me off. I will admit, I do kind of dislike how they mixed in. Can you go up a little higher? I'm having trouble sensing what's ahead. Don't worry, Fuka. We will get there in due time, but this is a payday floor, so we will want to search for the treasure. But, yeah, the shuffle times are being a little jittery. I'm not a big fan of them incorporating the Persona 4 shuffle times. I feel like it was nice to have that degree of separation. Something that's especially nice at this stage of the game is, honestly, you know, I'm just busting out certain Odin for everything. It is nice to just be able to shut my brain off and wheel out a Persona that doesn't even need to strike a weakness and set up the all-out attack to just delete the enemies. And because when the Femc gets the killing blow, that just guarantees shuffle time every time in this version of the game, and FES, of course. That's just a wonderful thing. Makes things so much simpler. Keeps things nice and smooth as I do my expedition. That last encounter gave me 2 rubies, and that's actually really, really nice, because that was the Mighty Beasts, by the way. Always a good idea to make notes of what things that drop gems you care about. Are you tired? Please don't push yourself too hard. But rubies allow you to get a pretty overpowered fusion spell item if you get them. It costs 10 rubies, costs 99 malachite, so you can't spam out purchases of this item. But even just having one can allow you to cheese out some encounters that would take a bit more effort to cheese out in FES. It's actually the Apostate Towers, not a Magi enemy, that drops the Onyxes here. Good to know, good to know. Another nice thing is having these 2 tactical nuke options at my disposal that also have SP restoration built in. Means that I'm starting every fight with full SP. That is just so wonderful to see. We finally completely eliminated that as a resource issue. We're just good to go. We've got the Energizer Bunny build online. You know, we just keep going and going and going, and there is the very underwhelming payday. You can get 6-figure payouts at this point, and I've gotten plenty of them in Persona 3 FES. None on recording, unfortunately. So it really is worth your while to just scour these floors where you know the chests give out good items and money, because sometimes you'll just get 10 times the value of a coin card, and it's great for your finances. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely a more balanced economy that's featured in Persona 3 Reload, but you know, it just doesn't make your brain feel as good when you see those really low payouts. For just about every chest in the game, it's just now where we're able to get 5-figure payouts from the coin cards in Reload. I suppose I get it, though, because, like, the way the economy works in Portable, especially, you're only really ever going to run out of money when you're making tons and tons and tons of compendium purchases. Because remember, the compendium on the harder difficulties is 4 times more expensive than what it is on the normal difficulty. So it's a strong presence, but I don't know exactly where it is. Please be careful. There's Fuka with her illumination right there. This floor has nothing for us, but the next floor does. The enemy might be closer than I thought. Let me double check. Fuka, she's so confused. Anyways, another payday floor here. But yeah, the economy is actually relatively balanced on this difficulty, despite my frustrations with it. Those quadrupled compendium prices, though, they do kind of come back in a really nasty way by the end of the game, because when you're trying to get the ultimate weapons together for your team, also trying to get some particular accessories that are only gotten via item-bearing personae, you will quickly find your coffers being completely drained. Especially if it's something that just happened to be fused with really high-end skills on it, or you need to retrieve something that you stat maxed because, I don't know, it was just a good material for a prospective fusion, or maybe you wanted to get a fusion weapon off of it, and you didn't think to do that before you registered the Uber version of it in the compendium. These kind of things you have to consider. Speaking of weapon fusion, we're almost at the point— nice! 6-figure payout, finally. We're almost at the point where I'm gonna actually fuse up some new gear for Yukari and Aegis. We haven't been able to create more potent tower weapons for them for a while, because the last tower persona we've been able to use for the longest time is Kukulin, who of course creates the Gibalg Spear, and that is not usable for Yukari and Aegis, and it wouldn't even do what I wanted for them if it was. But once we reach level 60, we'll be able to fuse Bishamonten, who is a level 60 tower persona. Will create more elect-resistant weapons for us, and it'll probably be the last time I fuse elect-resistant weapons. All truth be told, I'm not sure if I'll bother fusing a new sun weapon for Mitsuru. She really doesn't care that much about having anything beyond a weapon that just lets her resist fire at all. I mean, obviously, it would be a slight increase for all-out attack damage if I got a better sword, or, you know, a statistically superior sword for Mitsuru. Though that's not to say I won't fuse a new weapon for Mitsuru at all. Actually, Mitsuru was kind of the fortunate recipient of I'm not sure if this was an intentional buff, but her ultimate weapon via weapon fusion is much easier to get in this version of the game. I think I got both the chests. I had another brain fart there. I'm pretty prone to them. We've I'm doing pretty good for experience right now, so I'm not super pressed about fighting everything that we come across. Obviously, I would like to get more levels. The biggest level I'd like to hit before leaving Tartarus is 61. I did actually manage that in FES already, because I'm actually recording this last, despite starting the video on it. I found it. It's on the 180th floor. I usually do... That's still a ways away, but please keep it in mind. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but the FES recordings pretty much always come first. You know, it stands to reason, but, you know, if you're paying attention to the dates, they always come earlier in the timeline. You know, that's kind of a nice thing, just from a strategizing thing. It gives me a dry run of the fights in FES, and I can refine the strategies I use a bit more in Portable. It's not necessarily just that Portable is an easier version of the game compared to FES. Far from it, actually. There is one boss in particular for Portable that I know is just going to be quite an ordeal to deal with. That is, you know what? I'm gonna hit that access point real quick and turn in the Moon Tablets request, so I'll just cut to that. It seems you've completed a request. One moment, please, while I check. I see you have brought 3 Moon Tablets, as I requested. Thank you. You will gradually encounter stronger shadows as you ascend Tartarus. The floors that you'll be exploring next are populated with very strong monsters. Please keep this in mind. Yeah, that's the kind of thing you want to tell me before you send me off to kill things there. Whatever, you tried your hardest with that one, Theo. Anyways, we'll of course just handy-dandy floor jump our way back to, where we were previously. Again, don't have to go too far out of my way to get back to where I was. That makes access points so much more useful in this version of the game. But yeah, as I was saying, there is one boss in particular that I am dreading for Portable, because the Portable's implementation of Persona 4 mechanics with Persona 3's game design, how are you feeling? Please don't push yourself too hard, has introduced a very, very, very nasty RNG factor to a particular boss fight on Maniac mode, and it is unfortunately also the longest boss fight in the game, so there are more chances for you to get randomly screwed over. I'll actually be taking some very, very specific precautions with all of the Persona that I plan to use for that particular boss fight when we get to it. We've got our payday floor here. Get another load of yen. We can probably bait this guy, then de-aggro him, not fight him because I don't really care to. I don't think there's anything else interesting to see on these floors, and if I miss one enemy, it's not a huge deal. They're not super interesting, and honestly, like, the singular powerful enemies that appear in random encounters, they're so often just not worth the time to fight. It's can be difficult to kill them in one turn cycle before they get a chance to act. Obviously, you never want to let the enemy act on the harder difficulties of Persona, because one stray crit can just
a little tired?
Just a little bit, Fuka.
Looks like she's running out of steam.
Does she literally have steam?
Sorry-chan, you're getting exhausted.
Oh my god. Fuka, please, we're still going, yeah. That's just I haven't really commented on that. That's oh god. That's a newly recorded lines for this version, just letting you know that fatigue is setting in, and that you will hit the tired status when you leave Tartarus. I feel like we've seen it at least once. But again, it was so long ago, it doesn't really hurt to recap it, in case you forgot what that was exactly. Okay, we're unfortunately going to have to aggro this guy and take him out. He's a little too close to the chest, and unlike Reload, we can't just despawn things by opening chest. One of the weirder mechanics in that game, honestly. One nice thing about getting the item-bearing version of Sir, and I'm just thinking about this now as I'm going along, is that his accessory gives fire immunity. Oh, sorry, got a hiccup coming up here. Okay, it went away. But his accessory gives fire immunity, so once I do actually want to fuse a new weapon for Mitsuru, I'll still have an easy way to patch out her weakness, and in fact, an even more effective one than what she has currently. I mean, it might falter a bit against fire break enemies. I'm not really sure how those interact with each other, but, you know, against general things, that's not really going to cause us too many problems. Wondering if I could see the stairways over that way, but no. There aren't too many enemies that use break skills in the game in general, and I can't think of any. Oh my god, Fuka, you're like a broken record. Yes, I get it, Aegis.
I feel a little tired.
You guys are such whiners. Come on. Have a bit more pep in your step. You don't hear me complaining, largely because I'm a mostly silent protagonist, but you know. Anyway, let's continue on here. Get this guy taken care of because he annoys me. Another wonderful thing about Cert is his innate Deathbound. That just gives him a very nice option when you don't really feel motivated enough to switch over to Odin. Let's see here. It's also nice that in this version of the game we can actually get a full map view. I do wish there was a graphic setting I could use that could get rid of those lines on the map. Those are clearly not supposed to be there. That is an emulation texture error. It popped up when I switched a thing that was correcting an error in the very early videos, where whenever the portraits changed or had an animation change, a very distinct box would form around them. One of the settings that I changed it to corrected that, but introduced these lines on the map, which isn't too big a deal, but sometimes makes it a bit unclear where walls are and are not. I sense 3 enemies in the middle of the floor. Huh. That is very unusual. And indeed, I haven't been drawing too much attention to this, but Haraba is not a conventional block in FES and Portable. We have more boss fights than normal here. In fact, we have full access to Haraba in FES and Portable. We can keep going and going and going in Haraba, and when we hit the dead end, that is the true end of Haraba. There is only one barricade, and it's blocking the direct route to the next block. This is not the case in Reload. Because of this, there are more bosses for us to fight in FES and Portable, and for the first time since Fable, we actually have more than 2 bosses to a particular section of the block. This section has 3 of them, and I'm probably going to reiterate this in Persona 3 FES a little bit, because at the time I recorded it, I wasn't sure where I was going to mention this, and I was worried I would forget in Portable, so apologies if there's some redundant commentary here. Speaking of redundant commentary, let's get over to FES and see the next boss in action. Now, popping over to FES, this is actually the end of the 11-9 expedition, and I'm not going to be able to fight the boss here. You might notice something interesting, though. There are 3 enemies in the middle of the floor, not 1 like usual. Haraba goes on for quite a bit longer than normal, so we're going to be seeing, for the first time since Fable, more than just 2 bosses in the block of Tartarus that we can currently explore. And unlike Fable, this goes on considerably longer. Instead of just like 17 floors with 3 bosses, it's more to the tune of, let's see here, around 40 floors with 5 bosses. Pretty serious stuff there. However, the big thing we have to deal with right now is that I'm going to have a cascade of people leaving me. Now, I'm actually just going to be cutting to the next recording so I can actually get the boss covered like I want to, but there are still some things I'd like to montage through before we move on to that, and I'd like to, of course, have them on recording somewhere so I can point to them and say, hey, I actually did show this off. First order of business. You seem to have completed a request. Just a moment while I check. I see you brought 3 moon tablets as I requested. Thank you. You will gradually encounter stronger shadows as you ascend Tartarus. The floors that you'll be exploring next are populated with very strong monsters. Please keep this in mind. Please accept your reward. Good stuff, good stuff. One thing that I forgot to point out is that what is it? Well, actually, no, I don't need to bother with this. I was going to point out the water flowers request again, but in the order that I'm going to be recording this, that's not going to matter too much. Okay, moving on to the next thing. I happened to luck into a barong via shuffle time, so now I can create Kumbanda, and I can get Auto Matarukage on him to have my first auto team buffer that has 2 auto team buffs. Also note that we're getting to the point where we can fuse Abaddon. For reasons we'll get into later, this is a very, very, very important persona in Persona 3 FES and Portable, so do not forget to fuse this guy once you have the opportunity. That's not something we're going to be able to do for a little bit while longer yet, so we'll hold off on that. Alright, it took some burning through the chaff that I picked up along the way, but I was able to do a bunch of fusions that will now allow me to fuse Siegfried, the next main persona I wanted to fuse for this expedition. And Siegfried more or less comes in with everything I care about, although him having cool breeze would be pretty helpful. We're going to just fuse him right now and see what skills come through for him, because Siegfried has a very, very important skill that makes him an easy answer to a handful of encounters we'll come across. So, let's just get him going here. We'll definitely want to start boosting up Siegfried via arcade games. Unlike the other personae that we want to boost up that way, we are going to be focusing on Siegfried's strength first and foremost. So, any night where I'm going to the arcade and the punching bag is available, I want to whip out Siegfried for that. The reason I want Siegfried for that is because of Vorpal Blade. Vorpal Blade is an incredible attack because of a unique property it has. Let's take a quick look at it. Heavy slash damage to all foes, great bonus. What does that mean? When you are in the great condition, Vorpal Blade deals double damage. It is the strongest physical attack in the game by a mile due to this property, and it is super helpful. Very good answer for enemies that wall out your elemental spells, but have no resistance to your physical skills. Super, super good skill to have, and I'm really glad to have Siegfried. There's probably one more Elementalist I care to make, but between Cert, Odin, and Siegfried, we pretty much have the persona that we need for every future battle we get into. I can switch between one of these three guys, and once I get their stats maxed out, they'll just be an ideal counter to everything we could possibly come across. Other good things about Siegfried is that he is immune to slash attacks and resistant to strike attacks, so he covers the waterfront of most physical attacks in the game, and he'll also be picking up Arms Master in due time. Arms Master halves the cost of HP consuming skills, which when we stack that with Cool Breeze, which is very fortunate that I was able to get that the way I fused him, that means we will basically be able to use Vorpal Blade with no cost to ourselves. It's a pretty good combo of skills I got onto this guy here, so yeah, that's looking good. But like I said, I'm stitching together two different recordings here, so let's get on to the next boss. And just like that, we are 1 week into the future, ready to take on the boss. So, I made a few equipment changes here. You'll notice that the protagonist, instead of Leviathan, now has Balmung for the 100 extra HP. I've also given Ken Gungnir and Indra Bracers, so his Zeodynes are a bit more powerful. I've upgraded his and Akihiko's armors also. That's about the extent of changes there. Obviously, without Gibalog and Vaya Bracers, Ken no longer has wind damage as an option, but that's not really going to matter too much for this fight. Junpei is just the same as he has ever been. Let's get into this next one.
Be ready, I sense it's a strong one.
Alright, so I've been doing pretty poorly on these fights in FES recently, so I'm going to take this a little bit more seriously than I have been as of late. Let me see. I'll stick with that for right now. What I'm going to do to start things off is, rather than relying on Junpei to up Maraku Kaja in these Tartarus battles, because that just has not been working out very well. I forget if I had Fuka scan there, so always make sure that you do that. These guys are resistant to fire spells, but they are not weak to, but vulnerable to elect spells, so we can deal some pretty good damage with Odin here. Ken is also geared to do the most damage possible with Zeodyne. Here he comes with a gigantic fist. Nice! Counter-Strike coming in clutch for us there. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like these... Nice! Junpei's getting pretty good luck there. Anyways, Akihiko will be a pretty good source of damage here, since he has Mazionga to spread the love around. Junpei going for his own gigantic fist here. It'd be nice if he could get a crit. That does have a higher than base critical hit rate. Here comes one going after Ken. Hey, nice dodge. We've got all our buffs set up right now, so we're going to be looking pretty good for this fight. Let me see. I will switch to Odin and have him do the work that I need him to do. We will use our Maziodyne here with Elect Amp and Elect Boost and pretty good magic. Yeah, that is some very, very solid damage right there. Ken might even be able to finish this one off here. Nah, not that lucky, unfortunately. Now, these guys are very, like I was saying before, these guys are very resistant to fire spells, so I'm not really going to be able to do much with Cert, or will Junpei also will not really be able to do too much with Leviathan here. This is going pretty good so far. Obviously, once, oh, well, actually, that wasn't that big of a deal at all. Let me see here. You know what? Let's play risky. I'm feeling confident about this. There we go. And hopefully Ken will go for the one that power charge. We should have enough HP to survive on the protagonist regardless of what happens. And okay, that wasn't even a concern to have at all. Overall, much better fight than the previous one. Alright, let's pop this open, get a Bomb of Life. I'm gonna set Ken's equipment back to the default of Gibalg and Value Bracers, just because that gives him a little bit more coverage. I just wanted him on this for this particular fight, and now let's get into the portable version. Since the guys coming up here are resistant to fire, I may as well throw up a Giga Guard Band here. Odin has innate Elect Boost and Elect Amp, so I don't need a particular accessory to get the most out of them. Otherwise, the setup is exactly the same as for the last boss fight. Let's get into it and see how this goes in Portable. Good luck!
Be ready, I sense it's a strong one.
I kind of like to imagine that Fuka saying good luck before the fight is actually just like in Star Fox. Good luck. Okay, let's see here. We'll switch to Odin. Let's feel these guys out a little bit in Portable, just to see how much damage we're looking at when they hit us here. Nice, nice. Would be nice if, ooh, that's a problem and a half. Oh no! Aegis is still on Act Freely. Ah! That is a very annoying thing that you have to consider for in Portable, is when she goes back to AI command. I haven't had a reason to check that. Anyways, since I know they're going to be throwing Deathbound at us, I should probably it would be a good idea here to use an attack here. Deathbound is some serious, serious damage being thrown our way. And we also got Tempest Slash over here. Unfortunately, they blocked that. Let's see. I want to change Aegis's tactics so badly, because I just know I'll forget if I leave it up to the turn when I can actually do it. These guys are unfortunately very resistant to wind. Okay. I actually did want Aegis to be on direct command and not Orgia mode, so I could have her up Montage on the team. Take a little bit of stress off the FEMC needing to do so. Fortunately, we're mostly done with this fight already. They're going for a power charge here. We will throw up Madarakukaja just in case. I would like Mitsuru to survive her turn, and ideally that means no crits come through, although Mitsuru should be fine enough. Another Mighty Swing coming through. We're fine there. Let's get the Mabufala out, and this should finish these guys off. A little sloppy here. I should have opened with the attack here. Alright, nice. Not quite as good as what the FEMC is capable of, but not terrible either. And hey, we get more attack mirrors for our efforts. Before we get into the action for Reload's next boss fight, we got another new enemy here, the Mighty Beast. This guy is just weak to dark skills, so that is an option you have for taking him out. Or we could have Akihiko just punch it in the face, and then go for an all-out attack. Unfortunately, it poisoned Junpei there, so he's not going to be able to participate, but we still killed it just fine. Hey, new persona there as well. And yet more new enemies. We've got Gracious Cupids here. Unfortunately for these guys, they are weak to strike skills, so Akihiko is just going to delete this guy instantly and set us up for a quick and easy all-out attack. This time, Aegis is the one sitting out, so a little unfortunate there, but with the Priestess boost, and I've actually upgraded my protagonist weapon recently, we are able to just take that out no problem. And what the heck, since we're ending this video on this segment anyway, why not fit in another Monad encounter? Just as planned, right? Just as planned. Nah, it's just a matter of happenstance. But hey, at least we're getting these out of the way right now. As always, take these guys seriously. Let's just not get careless and end up losing a bunch of progress, because I did not actually save after the previous boss encounter in Reload. Okay, let's see here. Inflicted with poison, which is very annoying, but we have options for dealing with that, such as our Vita G bottles. Unfortunately, that denies me the opportunity to boost up the party's attack with Aegis, but I'm not super pressed about that. Let's have Junpei go for a Deathbound here. Okay, it just happens to be weak to that. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to just totally bully this guy right now. We are going to switch over to Siegfried, and honestly, we should be able to just beat it down quite well with Brave Blades. Look at that damage. That's wonderful. It's also great that I still have the Auto Targukaja on Hecaton Kyries, so I don't have to worry about getting an offense buff set up on the protagonist. And there is a powerful enemy up ahead. I don't really have any need to, fuse anything new. Choosing your squad based on the enemy type is one useful approach you could take. Yeah. So I'm just gonna save real quick, and then let's get right into the fight. Alrighty, battle time. Let's see what this guy is capable of. The enemy is strong. Please make sure you're ready before fighting. I was born ready, Fuka. Who do you think you're talking to here? Sorry, but we're breaking through. I'm sure they are going to be forgiving in that regard, Akihiko. Anyways, like I keep saying, let's take these guys seriously. I have been kind of fumbling my approaches in a lot of the boss fights across all versions of the game, really, so I'd like to try and mitigate me doing that, if at all possible. We'll also probably want to try and hit these guys with either Marakunda or a Deikaja gem. As a matter of fact, I think I have a Deikaja gem. So let's just pop that real quick. Oof, the item inventory is so full. Where are my Deikaja gems? Oh god, I know I got one earlier. I wish I could just find it super easily. There it is. We'll just immediately eliminate that defensive boon that they got. And let me think here. This guy's going for the Mabufudine. Ideally, Akihiko dodges. Yes! His shoes give him evade ice. Very helpful for our purposes. Let me see. Do I want to set up a Marakunda? If I even have the option. I would kind of like to do that, and yes, I do, of course, have the option. We'll get these guys defensively frail, and then we'll scan them and see what our preferred options would be here. So this guy is immune to a lot of stuff. This guy over here is vulnerable to fire, and you know what? Good as an opportunity as any to use this Aguilau gem right here. Then we're going to pass it on over to the protagonist, bust out Siegfried, and deal a very, very potent Scarlet Havoc on these guys. If I could line it up a bit better, it would be really very nice to get charge onto this, but I'd rather just get the damage going right here. And there we go, that's that guy taken out already. I kind of feel bad for him, truth be told, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. We're just going to continue on. I guess hitting this guy with myriad arrows should deal some pretty solid damage. Not quite able to finish him off. Sometimes we get unlucky like that, but Junpei can come in with the follow-up Bile Assault, and that just completely eliminated that guy. Hey, we get Makogan onto Trumpeter here. Very nice to see. Get rid of that useless Hamon there. Get insta-heal on Aegis. Very good skill. Way better than fast heal. Ailments are a thing of the past when it comes to being a concern for Aegis. Ooh. Picking up Primal Force. I'll have to think about if that's better than Cruel Attack. I think it just is flatly more attack power. These guys are a serious workout compared to your average Shadow. I mean, I've still got gas in the tank, but how about we make a quick pit stop? Yeah, we'll take a rest here, because we've got the end of the video coming up. Gotta know when to cash in your chips, am I right? Come on, I'll race you to the nearest teleporter. On your marks, get set, go! But that's neither here nor there. We're just gonna grab our treasures real quick, and then we will call it for a first call it an end to this first expedition video, and we have a vacation lined up afterwards. So, you know, I think our team really could use a little R&R. Let's just grab our thing here, the Kunitsu. I didn't read that at all, so whatever, we got a dagger there. And now we are just going to call the video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, though, goodbye.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined, no. But it's my right to waste your time.